We all know there's a climate emergency, and we know that it's caused by politicians reacting too slow to that emergency. If they reacted quickly enough, we would be having protests and big debates about a lot of hot air talk about climate. We're currently on a 3-degree trajectory instead of 2, and that is the blame of politicians. But it's also the blame of the media. They don't really report the issues enough as you would if it was an emergency, and they certainly are not pressurised by the general public. So that leaves the protest movements, who do make some general problem for society, but it's very mild, and I don't think that mildness is really reflective of climate emergency. I don't think it's civil disobedience to the level that reflects a climate emergency. I think it's not what you think. It's for you, the individual or the collective in the protest groups. But for me, no, it doesn't reflect civil disobedience. If you look at what's happening in America with the race rows, Martin Luther King's time, and the history of protest in the UK, especially, where we can say we forged democracy. It was made on the backs of people who gave blood, people who was prepared to fight for what was right. And you probably can't get no more right than fighting for the rights of people to live and not be starved to death, because when you let people starve to death, it surely goes against what we are as a spiritual entity. I don't believe that any of us want to see people starve to death more than what currently is starving to death, which is about 20,000 people a day, by the way, which again is deplorable of the human race, of the economic system. The economic system is not efficient enough to care for those people for some reason. So what can be done? Well, I have an idea, and the idea is very simple. You alter or you add a protest method, and that protest method is this. On a day-to-day basis, on your way to work, on your way to school, on your way to wherever, at rush hour times especially, stopping the road, 1 minute, and you stand there and you stop 20 cars. I'm not asking you to stand in the road when the car's coming at 200 at 60 miles an hour, but most city systems, it's pretty safe to do that. You then walk on for another minute. You might do it elsewhere. You might do it for 5 minutes and then go about your work, go about your business. It's a very mild form of protest. It's pretty as civilised as what you could get, and pretty basic really, and mild. So let's suppose you was arrested. Firstly, you've got to prove you was protesting, that you was obstructing the street. It's a very, very mild crime, if it's a crime. I don't even know if it is a crime. I do know this. The biggest crime is that 900 million people are going to starve to death next century. That's the crime. So you either stand up for those people and our own spirituality and morality around those things, or you don't. And what I'm saying is, and I'm absolutely certain of this, your way of doing it is not working. I've got a proven track record. I've got a proven track record of that over the last 6 years. The trajectories haven't changed. The promised land has changed from the politicians, but the trajectories haven't. So, think about, from November the 1st, whoever you are, on a day-to-day basis, attacking the system. And what you've got to understand is this isn't so much a protest, it's a mechanism, a bit like having a climate gun that you hold to society's head. And it basically says, you're not going to listen to us, we're not going to listen to you. And we're going to slow the economic system down during those time periods. And what are you going to do about it? Because I'm going to tell you something now, there's not enough police in the world, apart from in China or in dictatorships where they just shoot protesters, to stop you. It's a very efficient method, and the overall effect is it will spread from city to city. And what that means is you've then got a control mechanism upon society, upon the political ideas that are outdated, in order to forge ahead, create a society based upon climate justice. you need to force the issue. And if you carry on as you are, you can't really force the issue because you don't have that mechanism. All you have a mechanism for is to arrive at a scene and have your voice heard, which is not really heard, to be honest with you, because it doesn't go on television anyway. So it's only reported on Twitter and in the bubble of people who care. So it doesn't mean anything. You haven't broke out into the mainstream. And if you really think that you're going to convince people and persuade people, then I'm going to tell you, not only are you mad, you have no reasoning processes that are reflected by any proof, because the trajectories speak for themselves. And you can't deny that, because since 2015, we're on a 3-degree trajectory, 2.9, 2.7, if you want to believe the promised land. But we've had promised land for 25 years. It's been going on for many years now, saying we're going to have to make adjustments. So you either do what you're doing and ignore what I'm saying, or you do what I'm saying and make a change in the world. Because the idea is categorically to take over every city in the world, and you would you do that by force. And just because 50% of the people will hate you for it, well, I'm sorry, but you want to go along with 100% of the people, which is basically a 3-degree trajectory. It's not acceptable. So if you're going to stand up for what is morality, stand up for it. If not, carry on with your protest. And don't stand up for morality, because I'm going to tell you something now. You believe in a 2-degree, 1.5 morality. That's what you believe in. But you can't force it, is what I'm saying. So to force it, do what I'm saying. And I wish you well. So, stop the traffic. Start the revolution.